कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 कृष्ण, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं, श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। All of us, let us chant together the verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Module 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratascha swarat Tene brahmhridaya Ādi muhyanti yatsurayah tejo vari mrudam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. धर्मः प्रोजितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्योरिद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अहैतुक अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस् तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवान् इति शब्दते अतः पुंबेर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वनुशिष्टस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् एते चां शकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमभदवत् अपि नामान्यनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोह भयापहा आत्मा रामाश्च मुनयो निर्ग्रन्था उरुक्रमे कुर्वन्त हेतु किं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहताद् अद्धा गंगेवौघम् उदन्वती हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you very much for your kind association. We will continue our study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 37 onwards. Srimati Kunti Devi is continuing offering her beautiful prayers called Kunti Stuti to Bhagwan Shri Krishna. As Krishna is getting ready to leave Kunti and the Pandavas behind in Hastinapur after the Kurukshetra war, and he's going back to his kingdom in Dwarka. Text number 37. Apyadya nastvam sukrite hita prabho jihasasi svit surido nujivinaha yesham na chanyad bhavatah padambujat parayanam rajasuyojitam hasam. All the translations and all the purports are very mercifully given to us by our most revered and most beloved grandfather, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottar Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charana Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Srimati Kunti Maharani is praying, "O my dear Lord Krishna,
You have executed all duties yourself. Tvam sva krite hita prabho. You have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy? And we have no one else to protect us. And you're leaving us now when all the kings are at enmity with us. Hare Krishna. Kunti Maharani's bhav is that she's imploring Shri Krishna, please stay. But why will Krishna stay? Because the first line is, you have executed all duties yourself. Whatever needed to be done, the needful had been done by Krishna already. So now why will Krishna stay? So Kunti Maharani has to give reasons why he should stay. So she's saying, you're leaving us, but we are Krishna Parayana. We are completely dependent on you, my dear Krishna. How can you leave us? And she's thinking of some other reason why Krishna should stay. She's saying such a big massacre has happened. So many people have been killed. Now their children will want to take revenge. Those who have lost their fathers in this battle. Millions of men have been killed in this great war of Kurukshetra in 18 days. Their children, their relatives will be angry with the Pandavas, with my sons, because the war was fought for the sake of Maharaj Yudhishthir. So we have so many enemies now. Oh Krishna, please don't leave us. She's thinking, actually there are no enemies. All the asuras have been killed. But this is the bhav of a pure devotee. Once I had asked Shri Mukundatta Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple from Shri Vrindavan Dham, Kunti Devi knows, she is the sister of Vasudeva Maharaj. So Kunti Devi knows that her brother Vasudeva Maharaj, Devaki Rani, Rohini Maya, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, Kalindi, and others in Dwarka, all the queens in Dwarka, Krishna's queens, their children, grandchildren, all of them, they must be all feeling great separation from Krishna. Krishna had been away for so many months and Krishna was living with the Pandavas. So Kunti knows this, that the devotees in Dwarka are feeling great separation. And a devotee is paradukha dukhi. So Kunti should feel the pain of the Dwarkavasis and let Krishna go. Oh Krishna, now you have stayed here for many months, now you go. Spend time with the Dwarkavasis. They are your family members, they are waiting for you. They are also Krishna Parayana. So my question was, why Kunti Maharani is not allowing Krishna to go? Why is she not fair to the Dwarkavasis? Why is she imploring Krishna to stay back? And Shri Mukundatta Prabhu replied to me that such is the nature of love. Kunti Maharani is not able to think right now. As Krishna is leaving and there is an impending separation, she is not able to think about the Dwarkavasis. She is overwhelmed with her own love and with great emotions, with great love. Because of that viraha, the impending viraha, she is not able to think. That is the nature of love. It's not that she doesn't care about the Dwarkavasis. It's not that Kunti Devi is not paradukha dukhi, but the tsunami wave of love is so much. When this viraha is about to take place, she's seeing Krishna sitting on the rath and going, hey Krishna, you leave us, how will we survive? It's just natural for a devotee to feel that. And in that great impending separation, Kunti Devi is not able to think about the Dwarkavasis. Because she's overwhelmed with feelings of separation from her beloved Krishna. This is the nature of prem. This is the nature of prem. Let's look at the purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Just, we can think for the rest of our lives about this one sentence of Srila Prabhupada. Think about this. The Pandavas are most fortunate. Why? Not because they won the war, Not because Maharaj Yudhishthira is the Chakravarti Samrat of the whole planet now. Prabhupada says, the Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. This is called Goptritve Varan. To be completely dependent. Krishna is my protector. Krishna is my maintainer. Completely dependent on Krishna. This is Sharanagati. Recently, I was in Washington, just came back this morning, Washington, DC. And there, in the house of Madhvacharya Prabhu and Mother Kunti Devi, disciples of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, we met a very wonderful Prabhupada disciple. And this very wonderful Prabhupada disciple was narrating his experience in Sri Jagannath Puri. Many years ago, when he was visiting Jagannath Puri, he had kept his American passport, his credit cards, and whatever cash he had, all his important documents in a nice purse, a small purse, and he had put it in his kurta pocket because he didn't want to leave it in the dharmashala where all the devotees were staying, lest it gets stolen. So he was carrying it on himself, on person. And he had come to attend Jagannath Rath Yatra. You know, there are millions of people there on the street during Rath Yatra. And this is an American devotee. He's got his bead bag and he's got this purse in his kurta pocket. And he's dancing in Rath Yatra. And next thing he knows, where is the purse gone? And someone pickpocketed him. Someone stole his purse and it had everything. His American passport, his driver's license, his credit cards, his debit cards, all the cash he had, everything. Because he couldn't leave anything behind in the dharmashala where he was staying. So he had everything in that purse and the purse was gone. He had nothing. He had nothing now. So he was searching frantically, but there are thousands and thousands of people. He was searching to no avail. He couldn't find. And finally, it dawned on him, the Rath Yatra got over and everything. It dawned on him that now he's just without any money and without any documents. So it was a tedious process to get his documents done again at the embassy and book his. He was obviously going to miss his flight. He was obviously going to miss his flight because it took several days to get all the documents, weeks. And then he had to rebook his tickets and fly back. And he had no money. So he was saying that I took that kurta like this. And in Jagannath Puri, I was begging. I was begging the Dhamvasis, please give me some money. Please give me some money. Begging devotees, give me some money. Give me some money. I'm in distress. I'm totally dependent on Jagannath now. Please give me some money so I can maintain myself and I can go back to America. So he was narrating this and he said that was the most ecstatic experience of my life. To be completely helpless. No passport, no driver license, no credit card, no debit card. Literally no way of knowing whether someone is going to misuse those cards because he didn't even have money to make an international call. In those days, there were no cell phones. This was like several decades ago. He didn't even have money to make the ISD call, the international call. That also required money. You had to go to a STD, ISD booth and to call the bank, call Bank of America from Jagannath Puri that my card has been stolen. So he was completely dependent, completely helpless. But he said that feeling of complete dependence on Jagannath, that feeling of complete helplessness, he said it was my most wonderful pilgrimage to a holy place. Because I actually got to experience that complete surrender, complete dependence on Krishna. This is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. The Pandavas are most fortunate because with all good luck, they were entirely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. When we go through trials and struggles and difficulties in our life, it is painful, no doubt. But just see now, 40, 45 years later, he was blissfully narrating this incident that happened to him in Jagannath Puri Dham and remembering it as the most profound experience he ever had in his devotional life. Complete Sharanagati. He said, I remember Jagannath was there in front of me on the road and I was praying, hey Jagannath. Now I'm Kangal. Amito Kangal. Krishna Krishna Boli Dhai Tava Pache Pache. So that feeling of Sharanagati, in the long run, it is the most precious possession that we have. In the material world, Srila Prabhupada continues, in the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune, isn't it? He's a parasite. Oh, come on, stand up on your own legs, do something. If somebody is not able to earn money on their own and they are dependent on others, it is such a sign of misfortune, isn't it? In the material world. But in the spiritual world, it is just the opposite. Urdhva Moolam, Adha Shakha. The material world is the opposite of the spiritual world. In the material world, to be dependent on others' mercy is considered misfortune. Bhikari. Bhikari. But in spiritual life, to be a prem bhikari, to be a kripa bhikari, a beggar for Krishna's mercy, is considered the greatest sign of spiritual fortune. The material disease, Srila Prabhupada writes, I skipped one sentence. The material disease is due to thinking of becoming independent of everything. We celebrate Independence Day in the material world. What do we celebrate in the spiritual day? In the spiritual world? Dependence Day. Sharanagati. Sharanagati. Oh Krishna, I am yours. Tavayavasmi, Tavayavasmi, na jivami, tvaya vina. Oh my Lord, I am yours, I am yours, I am yours. I cannot live without you. Sakradeva prapannoyam, tavasmiti. I am yours, I am dependent on you. Tavasmiti sayachate. Abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. This is Vibhishan Sharanagati, my dear friends in Ramayana. Our spiritual literatures, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Ramayana, is filled with glorification of devotees who express their dependence on Krishna. Not independent. We don't celebrate Independence Day. Independence Day is for the material world. Every country, everyone. And people say, oh yeah, that year I got my first job and I became financially independent. We remember very fondly our first job. Apne पैरों पे खड़े हुए. In spiritual world, we have to go down on the knees. Not just knees, but ashtanga dandavat pranam. We have to go down on all our limbs. Sharanagati. Dandavat pranam. That is the greatest fortune. Srila Prabhupada writes, but the cruel material nature does not allow us to be independent. People celebrate Independence Day, but actually they are not independent truly. They are all dependent. The whole material world is moving on this false attempt of becoming independent of the laws of material nature. Beginning from Ravan. What did Ravan want to do? He wanted to become immortal. What did Hiranyakashipu want? Wanted to become immortal. And Ravan wanted to prepare a direct staircase to the planets of heaven. Srila Prabhupada writes the book, Easy Journey to Other Planets. Right? Based on law of karma, we can go to different planets. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaganya gunavrittistha, adho gachanti tamasa. Depending on our karma, yanti devavrata devan, pitranti pritivata. Whatever we meditate on, whatever our consciousness is, whatever our karma is, based on that we'll get destination, higher, same or lower. That's the easy journey to other planets. But Ravan wanted to bypass this arrangement of Krishna. Maya dhikshana prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Krishna has created this whole universal arrangement, and Ravan wanted to bypass that arrangement. He wanted to have his own arrangement. Even Hiranyakashipu, he did not like the 4 seasons that Krishna had created. He wanted, whenever he wants, there should be winter. Whenever he wants, there should be summer. Whenever he wants, the sun should rise. Whenever he wants, the sun should set. So this independent thinking, independent behavior is a sign of demoniac mentality. It is a sign of atheism, not having faith or love for Krishna. Ravan wanted to build a staircase. He wanted to make his own rules. Hiranyakashipu said, those who are sinners, those who are against Vedic culture, they should get higher enjoyment. They should get the higher planets for enjoyment. And those who are pious people should go and suffer in hell. This was the arrangement of Hiranyakashipu. But this is not Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya is what is mentioned in our Shastra, where we follow the scriptures. Yat Shastra vidhim utsrijya vartate kama karata nasam shanti mavapnoti na sukham na paramgati. They are trying now to approach distant planetary systems by electronic mechanical power. Srila Prabhupada writes that now they want to go to moon, they want to go to Mars, they want to go to Jupiter, so many places, with their own mechanical process, without understanding the law of karma, which naturally takes us to those planets. This is all demoniac mentality, Ravan mentality. Few sentences below, Srila Prabhupada writes, the perfection of life is therefore to become dependent on the will of the Lord, instead of becoming falsely independent in the material world. All our illusion, misgivings should be gone. And then what we should be wanting to do? Karishye vachanam tava. Krishna, I will do what you want. Not my plan, your plan. Perfection of life, Srila Prabhupada writes, therefore, is to become dependent on the will of the Lord. Those who try to become falsely independent of Lord Krishna are called anath. Because who is Nath? Krishna. Krishna is Nath. Krishna is the supreme Nath. Please raise your hand if you can tell some names of Krishna that end with Nath. Please raise your hand. What are the different names of Krishna that end with Nath? Yes. Go ahead. Mukta Sangha Prabhu?
Jagannath.
Very good. Jagannath. Shamchandra Prabhu? Shamchandra Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I was going to say Jagannath only, but he said that. We can say Mukteshwar Nath.
Okay. Mukteshwar Nath. And Kirtana Sundari Mataji? Name of Krishna that ends with Nath?
Gopinath.
Hari Bol. Our Prayojan Murti. Gopinath. Yes, Purnima. Go ahead.
Dinanath.
Dinanath. Okay, very nice. Ladini Gopika Mataji?
Radhanath.
Radhanath. Thank you. Ananta Vilas Prabhu?
I also wanted to say Radhanath.
Okay. Parima Mataji?
Prabhuji, I was going to say Radhanath, Gopinath.
Okay. Shama Vallavi Mataji? Mathuranath. Anyone can say the verse that has the word Mathuranath, the name of Krishna, Mathuranath? Very favorite verse of Śrīmad Madhava.
Hey Dayandranath, hey Mathuranath Kadavaloke said, Hridayam Twadaloka Kataram, Daita Brahmyati Kim Karomyam.
Very nice. Thank you, Shama Vallavi Mataji. Thank you, Parima Mataji. Very nice. Very beautiful verse. Ajay Govinda Prabhu, Amrit Karan Prabhu after that.
Śrīnath.
Śrīnath. Very nice. Yes, Amrit Karan Prabhu.
Yeah, I do Radhanath, but Muktinath.
Okay, Muktinath, yes. Or Shamchandra Prabhu. Yes, also. So Satyarupa Mataji, Janani Mataji, and then Sharanagat Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Raghunath.
Raghunath. Wow, 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 wow. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Sharanagat Mataji.
Adinath, is it a right name, Prabhuji? Adinath.
Adinath, the original Lord. I have not heard this name, but maybe it is a name. I don't know.
Okay. And then Somnath is the name of a Shankar or
Lord Shiva. I have.
Lord Shiva.
So.
Adinath is a.
Yeah. But Lord Shankar also is Guna avatar of Krishna only. So that's good. Suma Mataji. Oops, sorry. You can unmute yourself.
Dwarkanath, Badrinath.
Yes, Dwarkanath, Badrinath. Very nice. Very nice, Suma Mataji. Ramsham Prabhu.
Vaikuntanath Prabhuji.
Vaikuntanath, Vrajanath. There are many names like that. So Krishna is called Nath. So one who is dependent on Krishna is called Sanath. The devotee is called Sanath because he is with the Lord. But one who is not dependent on Krishna, one who is independent, is called Anath. Orphan. Orphan. Because Krishna is our original father. Aham bija pradha pita. He is the supreme father. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, therefore we must try to be Anath or Sanath. Who should we try to be? We should try to be Sanath.
Sanath.
Ah, yes, very good. So now Kasturi Manjari Mataji is saying, Adinath is the name of Lord Rishabhadev. We hear in Jainism. Acha. Lokanath. Bhagavati Vasudha Mata is saying Lokanath. Yes. Very nice names. So very good. So now we should try to be Sanath. Below in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, separation from Krishna was just like the separation of a fish from water. Just like a fish cannot live without water, a devotee cannot live without Krishna. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation like a thunderbolt, and the whole prayer of Queen Kunti is to try to persuade Krishna to stay with them. Haribol. So prayers have a hetu. They have a motive. Even though bhakti is ahetuki, it is unmotivated, but still devotees have a sweet transcendental motive. Ultimately, the motive is to please Krishna. Why did Kunti Maharani want Krishna to stay with them in Hastinapur? So they could serve Krishna. Like that. After the battle of Kurukshetra, now listen carefully. After the battle of Kurukshetra, although the inimical kings were killed, their sons and grandsons were still there to deal with the Pandavas. It is not only the Pandavas who were put into the condition of enmity, but all of us are always in such a condition. Please, my dear friends, highlight this. This is Srila Prabhupada's Amogh Vani, the pure, perfect words of our beloved Srila Prabhupada. The sons and grandsons of all the slain men were there to deal with the Pandavas. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is not only the Pandavas who were put into the condition of enmity, but all of us are always in such a condition. Hare Krishna. This is the nature of the material world. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, this material world is not a place for gentlemen. Really. It is an illusion of Maya when we think that this material world is a good place. It is not. Krishna has certified Dukkhalayama Shashvatam. Again and again, we should remember this. My spiritual counselor, His Grace Krishna Nam Prabhu, once told me that His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, a very great pure devotee, Acharya in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. There are two very great gurus in our ISKCON. Both of them are Srila Mahavishnu Swamis. So we have Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. He had met Srila Prabhupada, but he received his initiation, I believe, from His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj. Very great personality. How many of you know His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj? He left this world, I think, in 2010 at Bhaktivedanta Hospital. Very great Bhagavat Acharya. Very deeply studied in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One of the finest teachers of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He was in his 90s. Very perfect life. He was a perfect brahmachari, perfect, honest grahastha, perfect in the renounced order of life, and ultimately perfect as a sannyasi and a guru. Very great personality, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. And then we have His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj also in our ISKCON. And he's still gracing Mother Earth with his lotus feet, very attached to holy name. We should look up His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj. Such a pure devotee. Always he's chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There are so many videos on YouTube. Please look them up. He wears this funny looking hat with Jagannath and Gaur Nitai, and he wears shoes with different colors, socks with mismatch, different colors, and he has an accordion, and he's just going jumping, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He's just doing Nam Sankirtan. Constantly he's chanting for hours, 12, 13 hours he does Nam Sankirtan. And when he was asked why you wear these funny looking attire, he said, well, it attracts the attention of people. If I wear normal clothes, nobody will notice me. But if I wear these odd clothes, people notice. And then they ask me, hey, what's about that hat? What's going on with this dress of yours? Can you tell? So it gives an impetus to begin conversation with people who have no idea about Krishna consciousness. So if it does the trick, it works as an icebreaker. So why not? And he goes, and on the streets, so many thousands and thousands of people have chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra because of His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj and his followers. Amazing. They are simply amazing. Once His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj came to a temple and was giving Bhagavatam class. And he sat down, he read the verse, he read the word-to-word transliteration, read the translation, read Srila Prabhupada's purport. And he said, yes, so Prabhupada's books are perfect. They are very clear. Prayanal Pashabdha Kalavasmin Yuge Jana. We are very unfortunate in Kali Yuga. We are short-lived. And what is our Yuga Dharma? It is Harinam Sankirtan. Krishna Varnam Tisa, Krishna Sangam Pangastra Parsham Yadne Sankirtanam Praya Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. So, okay, what are we doing? We have understood the Bhagavatam, what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Now let's implement it. Everybody get up, let's do Harinam Sankirtan. So Bhagavatam class was less than 5 minutes. And everybody for next 1 hour, they were doing Harinam Sankirtan. Ecstatically chanting and dancing. Then he says, everybody happy? Chanting and dancing? Haribol Maharaj, yes, we are happy. Okay, so now let's share our fortune with others. Let's go out on the streets and do the same Harinam Sankirtan. And the whole temple congregation, the whole temple hall, all the devotees, they go out on the streets with His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj. And then they are doing Harinam Sankirtan on the streets, making completely people who don't have bhakti in their life chant and dance Harinam Sankirtan. So very great personalities we have in our movement. Why was I talking about Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj? I totally forgot. How did we get here? I said there are two.
I think
Krishna Nam
Mahavishnu
Prabhu.
Goswami
Spiritual
Maharaj, you had
counsel.
not taken the ISKCON, you were talking about him and then also talking about.
No, my spiritual counselor, Krishna Nam Prabhu.
Yes. Thank you. My spiritual counselor, His Grace Krishna Nam Prabhu from Mumbai, Radha Gopinath Mandir, he said that he heard from Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, who is no longer with us. He has entered the Nitya Leela. He heard from him in a Bhagavatam class the duty of a Grahastha. And the duty of the Grahastha is every day we should read from the 5th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the chapter entitled Material World, the Forest of Enjoyment. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj would say that Grahasthas who want to develop some deeper understanding of Krishna consciousness and virakti, detachment from this material world, must read this chapter every day. So my counselor advised me to do that, knowing me to be very attached materially to wealth and comforts and luxuries. And for some time I did that. But it's a very important chapter. I would recommend that everybody. It will, of course, we'll study it as part of our Bhakti Vaibhava, if Krishna allows us to. 5th canto. Material world, a forest of enjoyment. Every grahastha should read it every day. Because in that chapter, the futility of material attachments is described very nicely. So that's all. Thank you, Sharadagat Mataji, for reminding. Srimati Kunti Devi therefore felt such separation. It is described. Pandavas were still in difficulty, which means that there is which chapter of the 5th canto? Sharmishta Mataji is asking. Just look.
Chapter 14. I sent the link.
Chapter 14.
Thank you, Vamshivadana Prabhu. So this chapter must be read. I was told to read every day. I'm not doing it anymore. Maybe I should start doing it again. But it's very important for us to read this. So the Pandavas' difficulties were not over because you kill one enemy and you create more enemies. Isn't it? Krishna killed Kansa, Maharaj Kansa. And what happened? Now Jarasandha became enemy of Krishna. He had 21 Akshayavani Sena with him. Bigger Sena than Kansa. So this is the nature of this material world, my dear friends. Always there will be enemies, Srila Prabhupada says. Pandavas always had enemies. And Srila Prabhupada says it's not just the Pandavas, but Pandavas represent devotees. So all devotees, all of us are always in a condition where we will have enemies. And Srila Prabhupada says, and the best way of living in this material world is to become completely dependent on the will of the Lord. Becoming completely dependent on Krishna. Taking shelter of Krishna. Sarva dharman parityaja Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Just Krishna, you are my shelter. Completely dependent on Krishna. And thereby we can overcome all difficulties of material existence. Macchitta Sarva Durgani. What is the next? Raise a hand. Macchitta Sarva Durgani. Yes, Satyarupa Mataji and Janani Mataji.
Mat prasada tarishyasi.
Yes. I don't want to embarrass Satyarupa Mataji and Janani Mataji. I feel like saying something about them, but I will spare them the embarrassment. But they are very wonderful devotees. We take the dust of their lotus feet on our head. Very wonderful devotees.
Hare Krishna, please don't say that, Prabhu, please.
Okay, I will not say
your dust. We want to take your dust, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
I am already dust. You cannot take dust from dust. I am already dust at your lotus feet, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Both of them are very wonderful devotees. Hare Krishna. Best way is to be completely dependent. And thereby we can overcome all difficulties of material existence. Macchitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. Verse number 38. Kevayam nama rupabhyam yadubhi saha pandavaha bhavato darshanam yarhi rishikanam iveshituhu. Translation. As the name and fame of a particular body is finished, with the disappearance of the living spirit. Similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our fame and activities along with the Pandavas and Yadus will end at once. Kunti Maharani is saying, just like when the jiva leaves the deha, the body, when the soul leaves the body is finished. Similarly, if you go away from us, from our lives, then all our fame, all our activities of bravery and power of all the Pandavas, all the Yadus, it will be finished. And so Kunti Maharani is saying that Krishna is the life of all devotees. Purport. Srimati Kunti Devi is quite aware that the existence of the Pandavas is due to Shri Krishna only. The Pandavas are undoubtedly well established in name and fame and are guided by the great king Maharaj Yudhishthir, who is morality personified. He's as good as Dharmaraj. And the Yadus are undoubtedly great allies. But without the guidance of Lord Krishna, all of them are non-entities. Non-entities without Krishna. As much as the senses of the body are useless without the guidance of the consciousness. Consciousness comes from the soul. When the soul leaves the body, are the eyes any good? No. Are the eardrums any good? No. Is the tongue any good? Can it taste anything? Nothing. This body becomes non-functional, non-existent, dead, useless. The relatives burn the body or bury the body underground. So similarly, without Krishna, we are like a body without a soul. We are dead. We are non-entities, Srila Prabhupada says. Everything that we have, it is because of Krishna. Balam balavatam chaham. Krishna is the strength of the strong. No one should be proud of his prestige, power, and fame. Whatever abilities we have, whatever success we have, whatever name and fame we have, whatever possessions we have collected in this life, my dear friend, we should never be proud of them. It is not because of us. It is by Krishna Kripa that we have anything. The living beings are always dependent, and the ultimate dependable object is Lord Krishna himself. We are always dependent, my dear friends. Either we depend on our boss, or on our money, on our contacts, on our relatives and friends, or on our own abilities. Either we can depend on all these, or we can depend on Krishna. And who is worth depending on? Krishna, not things of this world. They will betray us. They will disappoint us. But Krishna will never betray us. Krishna will never disappoint us. Never. He is the most dependable person. Srila Prabhupada writes, the ultimate dependable object is Lord Krishna himself. Text 39. Neyam shobhishyate tatra yathedanim gadadhara tvatpadair ankita bhati swalakshana vilakshitaihi. Very beautiful verse. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Gadadhara, that is Krishna. Gadadhara is a name of Krishna, because Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, is not different from Krishna. Comes from Krishna. Govindam Ādi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ram Ādi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishta Nana Avatara Karoda. So all these different incarnations are coming from Krishna, including Narayan. Narayan is Chaturbhuj Murti, four-armed form, and holds Shankha Chakra Padma Gada. Sudarshan Chakra, Kaumodaki Gada, the lotus flower, and there is the Panchajanya Shankha. So Krishna, because in one of his lotus hands holds the Gada, he is called Gadadhara. He is also called Chakrapani, because in one of his hands he has Sudarshan Chakra. So Gadadhar is a name of Krishna. It's a name of Lord Vishnu, but Vishnu is not different from Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is translating Gadadhara is the name of Lord Narayan as Krishna. And Ādi Gadādhara means the original Gadadhar, that is Krishna, because Krishna is the origin of all the Vishnu Murtis. So here Krishna is addressed as Gadadhar. O Gadadhar, O Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. Why is the kingdom beautiful? Not because there are nice roads and nice palaces and nice decorations. No, it is beautiful because it is marked by the lotus feet of Krishna. It appears beautiful because of the impressions of your feet. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. It is said in Vrindavan, the cows and the gopas and the gopis, they would very carefully preserve the footprints of Krishna. When Krishna would walk, always Krishna walked bare feet. And there were beautiful footprints of Krishna everywhere, and the Brajvasis would carefully preserve these footprints. In his Ashtakam, Vrindavanashtakam, there is a verse where Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur glorifies like that. Let's see if we can pull up that verse. Glorifies like that. That I want to always stay in Vrindavan. Why? Because their Vrajbhumi is always beautified by the footprints of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Very beautiful. So it's Vrindavanashtakam, verse number 3. Everybody can see? Verse number 3. Kim te kritam hanta tapakshititi gopyopi bhume stuvate smakirtim yenaiva krishnangri padankitesmin mamastu vrindavana eva vasa. What is Vrindavan? Krishnangri, the lotus feet of Krishna, padankitesmin. His footprints, Ankit, have marked Vrajbhumi. That is a glorification. Here the gopis glorified the earth, saying, "O earth, what austerities have you done, so that your surface is now marked with Krishna's footprints? May I reside in Vrindavan always. Mamastu Vrindavana eva vasa." Like that. This is the bhav of our acharyas. So Kunti Maharani having the same bhav, that the only thing that is making Hastinapur beautiful is the lotus, the beautiful footprints of Krishna. Purport. Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj writes, there are certain particular marks on the soles of the feet of Lord Krishna which distinguish Krishna from others. They're unique features of Krishna and Radharani. The marks of a flag, a thunderbolt, then the ankush, the instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc., are on the bottom of Lord Krishna's feet. Shri Kunti Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. Kunti Devi is saying that if Krishna leaves, no longer will Hastinapur be marked by the beautiful footprints of Krishna's lotus feet, and therefore there will be misfortune. The greatest misfortune is to forget Krishna, and the greatest fortune is to remember Krishna. So there are different symbols on the soles of the lotus feet of Krishna, and let us see what they are. So I will show you. This is a very beautiful book that I read. This is called The Art of Chanting Hare Krishna by His Holiness Mahanidhi Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. And here on page number 226, you can see. Are you able to see? Sorry.
It's not visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can see.
So these are the different symbols on the two lotus feet of Krishna. So one of it is conch shell, shankha. It is there on the lotus feet of both Shri Radhika Rani, Srimati Radharani, and Shri Krishna. And what does the conch shell represent? When Krishna blows the conch shell, all inauspiciousness goes away. So conch shell as a symbol on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, for all of us, the meditation is that my dear Radha and Krishna are the source of all auspiciousness. All auspiciousness is there. And all the inauspiciousness from our life will go away. You even see how Dhruv Maharaj, when he was unable to offer prayers to Krishna, Krishna simply touched his head with his conch shell, and immediately beautiful prayers started coming from Dhruv Maharaj's lotus mouth. The conch shell of Krishna that Krishna holds in his hand, the Panchajanya conch shell, it is filled with nectar. And this conch shell as a symbol on Krishna's lotus feet represents freedom from inauspiciousness and appearance of nectar, Krishna Kathamrit, in the life of a devotee. So please write down the meanings of all these symbols. First is, so Ajay Govind Prabhu has said he has shared a file. Let's see. Click. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Such a beautiful photo. Thank you, Prabhu. See, everybody can see. Shri Krishna Charana Aravind ki jai ho. Very nice. Thank you, Ajay Govinda Prabhu. for sharing the chinna, the symbols on the lotus feet of Govinda. Our Ajay Govinda Prabhu has shared Govinda's symbols on the lotus feet. So conch shell represents freedom from all inauspiciousness, all distress, and the appearance of nectar. Then there is a dhwaja, there is the flag. After shankha, there is dhwaja, there is flag. This flag is also present on the lotus feet of both Radharani and Krishna. And this flag, Jai Pataka, it is a victory flag. We have our Srila Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. So Jai Pataka, this indicates victory for the devotee. The devotee is always anxious in this world. This world is kuntha, and the devotee wants to serve Krishna continuously, and therefore the devotee wants to go to Vaikuntha, where without any anxiety he can serve Krishna. So in this material world there is always anxiety, but the Jaya Pataka, the victory flag on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, reminds the devotee, gives assurance to the devotee. Masucha, don't worry. Victory will be yours. Victory will be yours. Definitely, you will make it. You will make it in life. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya durattaya mam evaya prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Definitely, you will be successful in your bhajan. So this assurance, proclaiming the supreme victory for the devotees, is given by the Jai Pataka, the flag. Then on both Radha and Krishna, on the soles of their lotus feet, is another symbol of the fish. Fish, Matsya. What does fish represent? What we just read in the previous purport that Srila Prabhupada wrote about Kunti Maharani. A devotee is like a fish, and Krishna is like the water. Radharani is like the water. And devotees cannot live without Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna Prana Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi More. The devotee cannot live without Radha and Krishna. That is the fish. Just like fish cannot live, the devotees cannot live. This is the Makara. Then there is Padma, there is lotus on the feet of Radha and Krishna. And what does this indicates? The lotus is a symbol of Lakshmi Devi. Shri. She's called Padma, correct? Lakshmi is called Padma. So it represents the goddess of fortune. And this means that there will be all good fortune for the devotee. It also means that the devotee is always under the protection of the internal potency, Daivi Prakriti, Yoga Maya. So that is lotus. Also, lotus indicates not just all auspiciousness, all good fortune, but lotus also represents all beauty, which means Kevala Ananda Kanda. This path of Krishna consciousness is very beautiful, very blissful. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam. That is indicated by the lotus. Then there is a bow, Dhanush, on the lotus feet of both Radha and Krishna. And this bow indicates that anyone who takes shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna will get full protection. Chapabana will get full protection from the bow and arrow of Krishna. Sharanga bow, isn't it? His famous bow always will give protection. Then there is the instrument Srila Prabhupada writes used to drive the elephant goad. It is called Ankush. After Dhanush, there is the Ankush. Also, Ankush is present on both Radha and Krishna's lotus feet. This Ankush indicates controlling the mind, because uncontrolled mind is represented by a wild elephant. Wild elephant is very independent. You cannot control a wild elephant. It can do whatever it wants. And when the elephant goes mad, it can cause great destruction. So our mind is also uncontrolled. Mind is uncontrolled. It goes here and there. Sometimes it goes in satsang. Sometimes it goes in asatsang, in bad association. Sometimes wants to do bhakti. Sometimes wants to do bhakti pratikul acharan, unfavorable activities. So mind is fickle. Mind is very difficult to control. But how can an elephant be controlled? With the goad. It's an instrument, sharp pointed instrument. You can, the Mahavat, the elephant rider knows how to control the elephant. Stop, go, left, right with the elephant goad. So this elephant goad as a symbol on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna indicates to the devotee that if we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, if we take shelter of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet, then our elephant-like mind will come under control. The mind will come under control. Shuddha have man. Through Mana Shiksha of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, through Upadeshamrit of Srila Rupa Goswami, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti, Tabe Ame Bhuja Bosa Yugala Piriti. Our mind will come under control and it will get fixed on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Ankush, elephant goad. Then on Krishna's lotus feet also, there is the triangle. One symbol is triangle. What does this triangle indicate? It indicates that in this material world, there are three modes of material nature which bewilder us, and there are three types of klesh, three types of miseries. Ādi Devik, Adhyatmik, and Ādi Bhautik. Miseries caused by our own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by natural forces which are beyond our control, miseries given to us by the higher powers. But if we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, this triangle, these three modes of material nature and these three types of miseries, they will come to a complete end. Because these three modes of material nature and three types of material miseries have taken shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. They are under Krishna. Maya adhyakshana prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So the triangle indicates protection from three types of miseries and from the three modes of material nature, because a devotee becomes gunatit, goes beyond the modes. Maam chaya abhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatitayata brahma bhuyaya kalpate. And also the three sides of the triangle indicate that a devotee who takes shelter of lotus feet of Krishna dedicates his or her body, mind, and words in the service of Krishna. Three: body, mind, and words. Hridavak vapurbhir vidadhan namaste. Then Radha and Krishna both have a barley corn as a symbol. And this signifies all opulence and all samriddhi, prosperity in the life of a devotee. Not material prosperity, but spiritual prosperity. A good harvest, a good crop of grains like barley corn indicates prosperity. And in the life of the devotee, there is prosperity if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And this sign on their lotus feet, Radha and Krishna's lotus feet, barley corn, indicates prosperity in the life of a devotee. What is this prosperity? Lot of Harinam, lot of Hari Kirtan, lot of Hari Katha, lot of Vaishnava Sangha, lot of Vaishnava Seva. This is the real good fortune in the life of a devotee. This is the real samriddhi. This is the real opulence in our life. Then there is like a crescent moon. A partial moon is one of the signs on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And what does this indicate? It indicates that even great demigods, great devatas, great personalities like our Param Vaishnava Acharya, Lord Shankar, Lord Shiva, also carry that his Chandramauli, because he carries a crescent moon on his head, and this crescent moon is on the soles of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Hari Bol. So it indicates that the great Suras, the great Devatas, they also take shelter at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. That is indicated by the crescent moon. Also, crescent moon indicates humility. How is that? The 10 toenails of Krishna and Radharani indicate 10 full moons. It's explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The 10 toenails indicate 10 full moons. Nakha Dyuti Sudhakaram. In Nandanandana Ashtakam it is said, Nakha, the nails, Dyuti Sudhakaram, the effulgence of the nails is like that of moon. So all the 10 toenails of Radha and Krishna indicate 10 full moons. So when moon had to appear as one of the symbols on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, the moon thought, oh, what is the need for me? Krishna already has, Radharani already has 10 moons as the 10 toenails. So the moon became very humble and became small crescent moon and went as a symbol on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, becoming humbled. So similarly, this crescent moon should remind us, devotees, that we should take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, but we should always remain very humble like a crescent, not big moon. We should not consider ourselves very big moons, no, small crescent moon, just a little crescent. Humility is indicated by crescent moon. Then there is a urdhva. There is a line that goes upwards, up curving line, and it is there on the lotus feet of urdhva rekha. It is there on the lotus feet of both Radha and Krishna. And this urdhva rekha, the line going upwards, indicates that in spiritual life, we always should go up and up, which means we must always increase our bhajan. Srila Prabhupada also wrote in a letter, always increase your rounds. 16 is the minimum number of rounds we chant Hare Krishna. Always increase your rounds, but never decrease. Srila Prabhupada wrote, never decrease. So if we go to 20 rounds, we should not come down again to 16. Should keep increasing. Urdhva rekha. The upward line indicates that a devotee always is progressive on the path of Krishna consciousness. Always progressive. We want to go. And also the urdhva rekha, the upward line, indicates that a devotee is one pointed in going towards Radha and Krishna. Not going here and there. It's not a curved line like this. No. Straight upward line. If you want to go straight to Krishna, we don't want to take diversions of karma kand, jnana kand, and all this mystic yoga, ashtanga yoga. No. Therefore, it is said, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam. Only Harinam. And then it is said 3 times, Nasti eva, Nasti eva, Nasti eva. Why 3 times? Because if someone hears Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, okay, but a doubt may come, but what about karma kand? What about jnana kand? What about dhyan kand? So, तीनों को काटने के लिए, to negate all those 3, karma kand, jnana kand, dhyan kand, it is said, Nasti eva, Nasti eva, Nasti eva, Anyatha. Like that. So similarly, a devotee goes straight to Radha and Krishna, does not want to take all these diversions and exits. No. That is the urdhva rekha, the upward line. Also, the upward line indicates that we may be very fallen. We may be very adham patit. But if we follow the practice of Krishna consciousness, if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, then no matter where we start off from, we may start off very low in life. But if we practice Krishna consciousness, if we practice Sharanagati, if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha Krishna, we'll keep going upward and upward and upward and upward. So this confidence, this hope, this encouragement is given by this urdhva rekha, upward line on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Then another symbol on the lotus feet of Krishna is a water pot. A water pot. Kalash. This kalash indicates pure nectar. And it indicates all auspiciousness and the nectar of Krishna Prem in the life of a devotee. That a devotee does not want nectar of this material world. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. No, the real nectar is in bhakti. The real nectar is in bhakti, and a devotee only wants that nectar. And therefore, this emblem is there called Kalash. Then there is Sudarshan Chakra, the disc, Sudarshan Chakra. It is also there on the lotus feet of both Radha and Krishna. And this indicates that if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, then with the Sudarshan Chakra, Radha and Krishna will cut off all our anarthas. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, like that. The Sudarshan Chakra is always there to protect the devotee. Like Ambarish Maharaj. When he was in difficulty, the Sudarshan Chakra came to protect. So that is indicated by the Sudarshan Chakra. A devotee will always be protected. Then on the lotus foot of Krishna, there is another symbol called concentric lines. There are concentric lines. And this indicates ether. Ether. And ether is also, so concentric lines, one line inside the other line indicate that the ether is unlimited. The sky is unlimited, but it is also contained within Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kham. Kham is ether. Kham manobuddhi revacha ahankaritim bhinna prakriya. It's Krishna's energy, under Krishna's control always. And therefore, these concentric circles indicate sound, ether. And it indicates that ether is at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Ether is at the lotus feet of Krishna. And therefore, we devotees should never pollute ether. Gramya kathana kohibe, gramya varthana shunibe. We don't speak gramya katha, gossip, mundane talks. A devotee avoids mundane talks. Knowing that ether belongs to Krishna, ether should be used in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, we don't talk nonsense. We don't talk mundane things. This is reminded to us by the concentric circles indicating ether. Ether is Krishna's property, should be used in service of Krishna. Speech must be used in the service of Krishna to glorify Krishna. Then there is umbrella, chhatra. This is there on both the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And what does umbrella indicate? Umbrella on the lotus feet of Radha Krishna indicates that in the material world, there is a constant rainfall of material miseries. Padam, padam, vipadam. Every step there is rainfall of material miseries. Calamities, problems, anxieties are there at every step, showering us with problems. But this umbrella reminds us that if we take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, then we will be protected from this rainfall of material miseries. So we should take shelter at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. The umbrella reminds us, don't worry. You are Radha Krishna Padashrit. You have taken shelter at the lotus of Radha and Krishna. You will be protected. The umbrella of their mercy will protect you. Then there is a cow's hoof print as one of the symbols on the lotus feet of both, on the lotus feet of Krishna. And this hoof print symbol on the lotus feet of Krishna indicates Samashritam ye padapala. What is it? Samashritam ye padapallavaplavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam budhir vatsa padam param padam 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 yadvipadam natesham. This whole bhavam budhi, this material ocean, is reduced to the water content in the hoof print of a little calf. Vatsa padam. If we take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, samashritaye, samyak rupena ashray, complete shelter, complete sharanagati. Samashritaye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare. We should take shelter of the lotus feet of Murari, Krishna. Then this whole material ocean will become like a water content in a tiny hoof print of a calf. And we can easily cross beyond it. So this cow hoof print or calf hoof print symbolizes that. And don't worry, Krishna will reduce this material ocean to very small size and you can cross over it. Then there is the symbol of thunderbolt. Vajra. Thunderbolt is one of the symbols on the lotus feet of Krishna. And this indicates that Krishna will destroy, cut down to pieces, burn all our karma. Our karma is like a mountain. So much sins we have committed, it's like a mountain. But what does the Vajra do, thunderbolt do? It crushes the mountain into fine powder, destroys it completely. So Krishna says, if you take shelter of my lotus feet, this Vajra symbolizes that I will personally destroy all your karma. Nothing will remain. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. Don't worry, I will destroy everything. This mountain is there, I will crush it, finish it off. Just take shelter of me. That is represented by Vajra, thunderbolt. And then there is swastika. One sign is swastik on the lotus foot of Krishna. And it indicates that there will be no inauspiciousness in the life of a devotee who has placed the lotus feet of Krishna in his heart or her heart. There will be no inauspiciousness. Swastika indicates all auspiciousness. All auspiciousness will be there. And what is the supreme auspiciousness? There will always be presence of Krishna in our life. Then there is an octagon, 8 sides. There's a figure, octagon, as one of the symbols on the lotus foot of Krishna. And this indicates that a devotee is protected from all the 8 directions. North, east, south, west, and then northeast, southwest, southeast, and northeast, like that. All the 8 directions a devotee is protected. Then there is a fruit as one of the symbols on the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the last one, last symbol. There's a fruit, and this is called jambu fruit. In Marathi we call it Jamrata Zhad. You know, this is jackfruit. There's this particular type of berry of a tree called jambu. It's called, I think, blackberry in English, blackberry fruit. And this indicates that there is this fruit is very tasty. And the peculiarity of this jambu fruit is that anybody who eats it, everybody can tell that he has eaten. It's like jamun khaya hai. Why? Because the whole lips, teeth, tongue, everything becomes violet in color, purple in color. Isn't it? All of you have experienced that? You eat jamun and the whole, everything becomes the color of jamun. So this, and it has a very nice, tangy taste, very nice taste, nice flavor. So this blackberry fruit indicates the taste, ruchi. That in bhakti, there is a great taste. And anybody who has tasted the sweetness of Krishna consciousness, everybody can tell that he is tasting real nectar in Krishna consciousness, because pure devotee is like the sun, cannot be hidden. Everybody can hide it. Moment he speaks, opens the mouth, speaks Hari Katha, chants the Shuddha Naam, immediately the devotees, they get attracted. They can tell, oh, this person has tasted. So this jamun fruit on the lotus foot of Krishna indicates that there is great taste in Krishna bhakti. And a devotee gets ruchi. And when a devotee gets ruchi, it's very hard to hide. Everybody can recognize, oh, this is a pure devotee. He has got so much taste. Namagane sada ruchi. That is indicated by the blackberry fruit symbol on the lotus foot of Krishna. So in this way, we discussed all the symbols and what they mean. Sorry, it went a little long, but these are all the symbols. So how many symbols are there? 19 total? How many?
19.
Yes, 19.
There are 19 symbols on Krishna's lotus feet. We discussed all of them. And these are the symbols that Kunti Maharani is meditating upon. And she is wanting that these beautiful footprints of Krishna should always be there in the kingdom. So that's what she's praying in verse number 39. From verse number 40, we will continue tomorrow. And we'll finish the chapter tomorrow. Grantharaj, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll quickly take question answers. Shamchandra Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Wonderful class once again. Prabhu, regarding the symbols, just one curious question. Is there any symbol in Radharani's lotus feet that is not there in Krishna's lotus feet? Because in the 19, we saw that there were some which was unique for Krishna, but not present in Radharani's lotus feet.
Yes. So there is a symbol called creeper, which is there only in Radharani. There is a Shakti symbol that is only there in Radharani. It's like a spear. Then there is a flower that is only in Radharani. There is a bracelet, only Radharani. There is a mountain, only Radharani. There is an earring, only Radharani. There is a club, only Radharani. And there is a chariot, only Radharani.
Yeah.
So these are the symbols that are present on the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, not on Krishna. But can I say something amazing?
Yes, please.
There are symbols on the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radha and Krishna combined. And Mahaprabhu has the combined symbols of Radha and Krishna. Yeah. All of them. Whatever is there on Krishna's lotus feet, whatever is there in Radharani's lotus feet, they all are there in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. All the symbols. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai, jai.
Very well.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay Govind Prabhu, then Amrit Gaurangi Mataji.
Prabhuji, one thing just wanted to check that these descriptions, is it somewhere documented, symbol by symbol?
Yes, I'm reading from this book. His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj's book, The Art of
Oh.
Chanting Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji.
This book, Art of Chanting Hare Krishna.
Got it, Prabhu. Thank you. And just wanted to share this screen Prabhuji was asking. So this is a screen which is showing both
Radha
the
and
feet
Krishna
of
both.
Radha and Krishna. So these were the differences you were talking about, the earring.
That's Radharani, where her cursor is.
Yes. And I think this is the flower. This is the chariot.
Yeah.
There's a peacock also here, which is not there on Krishna's feet. So
Yeah. Wonderful.
thank you, Prabhu.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay Govinda, for sharing that. Amrit Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
Prabhu, we are told to remember the footprints of Lord Krishna through these symbols, but we're also told to remember Krishna through Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. And I personally feel that is easier to remember than these footprints and their connections with the philosophy and all. So how do we take these teachings about remembering the footprints, Prabhu?
One should know the footprints on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And at least theoretically, we should know what those symbols indicate for us devotees. And yes, when we are meditating on Krishna's Roop, meditating on these different symbols is part of Roop Dhyan. Because this is also Krishna's body, Krishna's form. So when we meditate on Krishna's threefold bending form, we meditate on Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna's calves, Krishna's thighs, Krishna's waist, Krishna's belly, Krishna's navel, Krishna's chest, Krishna's arms, Krishna's flute, Krishna's neck, Krishna's beautiful face, Krishna's turban, Krishna's peacock feather, Krishna's earrings, Krishna's lips, Krishna's smile, Krishna's lotus eyes, Krishna's eyebrows, Krishna's beautiful nose, Krishna's cheeks. We meditate on Krishna like that. We do Rupa Dhyan. This lotus feet symbol Dhyan is also part of the Rupa Dhyan. So we can do it separately, or we don't have to do it. We can just do the remaining Rup Dhyan. That is also fine. From Rup Dhyan, then Leela Dhyan will come. Naam, Rupa Dhyan, as you said, rightly said. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Then we have Divya Mataji and then Amrit Karan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I wanted to ask you, it's relating to the devotee who spoke about that when he was begging with his kurta. Now we come across many times like outside grocery stores where people are begging for money. So should we give or not give? Because one thing comes in my mind that if this person is asking me for money, what if he goes and buys like a beef burger or something? So that is one question. And secondly, I wanted to ask when we spoke about again, it's this devotee who was like helpless. So when we are in that helpless situation, what is a better way to pray? That you tell Krishna, I'm completely helpless, please help me, or you say that, it's up to you, whatever happens.
So regarding the first question, Divya Mataji, we should give prasad. If someone is asking for money, they want money because they are hungry, or they want clothes, food, shelter, clothing, roti, kapda, makan. So we can give them some prasad. So they will get nourishment, their body will get nourishment, and they will definitely get agyat sukriti. They will get spiritual pious credits without even knowing, by simply eating Krishna prasad. Because the way to honor Krishna prasad is to eat it. They are hungry, just give some Krishna prasad. So giving some food is an act of kindness, both to the body and the soul. So we should, as grihasthas, it is our duty to give. So I usually keep something, even if not prasad, I keep, some granola bar or some dry fruits in the car, and I give them and say, God bless you, or Hare Krishna, like that. So they hear Krishna Naam, or at least we are spreading some goodwill. Because these beggars, they are in a very difficult situation. We don't know what their past is, but whatever it is, now they are suffering. So it is our duty to help them, and we should spread goodwill in this world. We should spread feelings of brotherhood in this world. That is very much required. So we should give, we should help. That is our duty. And giving prasad is the best thing to do, because you are right. If we give them money, they may misuse it, and then we are implicated in karma. But if we don't have prasad and you feel that somebody is genuinely in need, we can give little money also and just chant Hare Krishna and pray that they use it for the right purpose. Better to err on the side of giving than to err on the side of not giving, because not giving is adharma. So we should give. Second question was what we should pray when we are in difficulty. Srila Prabhupada taught us to pray that, my dear Krishna, if you so desire, then please, I am in difficulty, help me, like that. When Srila Prabhupada's health was not good, the disciples requested Srila Prabhupada, can we pray to Krishna to cure you from your physical ailment? And Srila Prabhupada gave this prayer. You can pray to Krishna that, my dear Krishna, my dear Radharani, our beloved spiritual master Srila Prabhupada has not finished his services yet in this material world. He wants to do more services. So if you so desire, if you so desire, please let him recover. So we should also have that spirit, and we should pray that, Krishna, if you so desire, please help, like that. Is that okay, Divya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Amrit Karan Prabhu, and then Sharmishta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Wonderful presentation, and with bhava, and so actually when we are chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, then we have to just hear whatever we are chanting, or we can meditate also Lotus feet of Lord Krishna in our heart. What we have to do, like so just we have to focus only hearing.
Yes, so there are different stages of chanting. In the initial stage, Srila Prabhupada said, the most preliminary stages, we chant clearly and we focus on hearing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just pronounce the Hare Krishna Mahamantra distinctly, chant nicely, and hear all the 16 names. That is the first stage of chanting. And this we should do all our life. We should keep chanting it like that. But as we make spiritual progress, as we perfect the process of chanting and hearing, then naturally, Srila Prabhupada uses naturally, not artificially, naturally, the Naam of Krishna manifests the Roop. From Naam comes Roop. And then first we do Naam Chintan, Naam Dhyan, then we get Roop Chintan. Krishna's beautiful form naturally comes. Now it may be the form that we take darshan in the temple or at home, our Ishtadev, or it may be the form of Krishna, Brajendranandan Krishna, as described in our Shastra, like Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, like Nandanandan Ashtakam. That form will manifest. And after Roop Chintan, we get Lila Pravesh, Lila Chintan. And Lila Chintan is the highest stage of chanting. That's what Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami used to do. When they would chant, they would see Krishna Lila manifesting. And see oneself also as part of that Lila and enter that Lila, having Lila Pravesh. That is the ultimate stage. So like that. So Naam Chintan, then Roop Chintan, then Lila Chintan, like that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Then Naam Chintan, then Roop Chintan, then Lila Chintan means Lila Spurti. It's called Lila Spurti.
Yes.
Lila Spurti. Yeah. It's highest stage.
Yes.
So they are entering with their spiritual body. They are entering.
They are Siddha Deha.
The past times. Yeah, Siddha, yes. Past times.
So, yes, that is for self-realized devotees. Like Srila Narottam Das Thakur prays in Vrindavana Ramya Sthana that O Rupa Lavanya Rashi Amiya Pariche Khasi Hasya Pari Hasya Sambhashane Narottama Dasa Kohe Nitya Lila Sukha Mohe Sadai Spuruka Muramane. So Nitya Lila Spurit Sada. So that is, it becomes spurit. It manifests in the heart. So it's natural, not artificial. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sharmishna Mataji, and then last question, Kamal Gopika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam.
Such a wonderful lecture in class, as always. Prabhuji, can I ask in Hindi? If it's okay.
Yes, Mataji.
प्रभुजी, जब कृष्ण द्वारका गए थे वृंदावन छोड़ के, तो वो साथ में यशोदा मैया और नंद बाबा को भी लेके जा सकते थे, तो उनको दूर रहने की क्या जरूरत थी जिससे उनको इतना दुख पहुंचा? ऐसे तो माँ बाप को हमें दुख नहीं देना चाहिए, तो कृष्ण ने ऐसा क्यों किया?
नंदा महाराज और यशोदा मैया को भी ले जा सकते थे, वैसे तो राधा रानी को भी ले जा सकते थे, गोपियों को भी ले जा सकते थे, सभी को ले जा सकते थे, लेकिन वो रसाभास हो जाता, क्योंकि द्वारका जो है या मथुरा जो है वहां पर ऐश्वर्य है, लेकिन श्री वृंदावन जो है वो माधुर्यमय धाम है, तो ब्रजवासियों को वहां ले जाना रसाभास हो जाएगा। और ब्रजवासी कभी वृंदावन नहीं छोड़ते, क्योंकि वे जानते हैं कि कृष्णा की सर्वोत्तम सेवा केवल श्री वृंदावन धाम में संभव है। कृष्णा इज हैप्पीएस्ट इन वृंदावन, and the Brajvasis want to serve Krishna in Vrindavan, so they will never leave Vrindavan. Krishna is independent, he's Swarat, he can do whatever he wants, but Srimati Radharani and the Brajvasis will never leave Vrindavan. Vrinda Devi will never leave Vrindavan. They will wait for Krishna to come back so that they can serve Krishna in Vrindavan, because it is in Vrindavan only and only in Vrindavan that Krishna is happiest. Where there is Yamuna Rani, where there is Giriraj Govardhan Haridasa Varya, where there is Raj, where there are the Dwadasha Kanan and the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Where can you get that? In Dwarka or Mathura? Impossible. Where there are palaces and parks and lakes, metropolis. That is not Vrindavan. Vrindavan is one Renu particle, one dust particle from Vrindavan is more important, more precious than millions of Dwarkas and Mathuras. That is Vrindavan Dham, the supreme Dham. Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanayas Tad Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Pumarto Mahan. This Vraj Prem is the highest. Therefore, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Na yoga siddhir na mamastu moksho vaikuntha loke pina parshadatvam prema pinasya aditi chetaram tu mamastu vrindavana eva vasa. I don't want anything else. I don't want to become a parshad of Krishna in Vaikuntha. I don't want Vaikuntha vasa. I don't want mukti, nothing. I only want to be in Vrindavan. Because the Manjari Upasana, the Vraj Bhakti can only be possible in Vrindavan. And Krishna is happiest in Vrindavan. So we will wait for Krishna to come back. How long can Krishna stay without Vrindavan? He has to come back. And he will come as love-intoxicated Jagannath very soon. And the Brajvasis will wait. Because the best service to Krishna can be performed only in Vrindavan. Going to Mathura Dwarka would be Rasabhas. They will never leave Vrindavan. Vrajras is the highest. Is that okay? Sharmishta Mataji?
प्रभुजी, but प्रभुजी एक चीज मेरे माइंड में आता है, जब भगवान श्री राम ने उनके पिता के मतलब उनकी बात को रखने के लिए वो वनवास गए थे, तो उनकी खुशी के लिए वो गए थे, तो यहाँ पे कृष्ण यशोदा मैया और नंद बाबा की खुशी के लिए रुक नहीं सकते थे, तो वो क्यों चले गए उनको छोड़ के? इतना दुख क्यों दिया उनको?
उसके लिए बाहरी कारण है और आंतरिक कारण भी है. देयर आर एक्सटर्नल रीजंस एंड देयर आर इंटरनल रीजंस. बाहरी दृष्टि से कारण है. एक्सटर्नल रीजन इज दैट, इंग्लिश में बोलूं सो एक ही भाषा में. द एक्सटर्नल रीजन इज दैट व्हेन कृष्णा वेंट टू मथुरा and he killed Kansa, his intention was to come back. I will go for that Dhanush Yajna and I'll come back. But he killed, after killing Kansa, Jarasandh became enemy of Krishna because his daughters became widows. Both his daughters were married to Maharaj Kansa. After Kansa was killed, all these Poundrak and Shishupal and Jarasan, they became even more worse enemies of Krishna. And Jarasan immediately attacked Mathura, where Krishna was. And he had huge armies. So Krishna thought, if I go to Vrindavan, all these armies will come to Vrindavan behind me. And Vrindavan is Prem Bhumi. Here in Mathura, we have Kshatriyas, we have fort, the Mathura fort, we have soldiers, we have Kshatriyas. In Vrindavan, no Kshatriyas. They are simple cowherd community of Krishna Premi. So why should I pollute Vrindavan? Why should all these armies come with their horses and elephants in Vrindavan and shoot their arrows and everything? No. There will be utter destruction. So no, Vrindavan should not be disturbed like that. So he stayed in Mathura. And when the armies kept coming and more Akshayahuni Senas were coming, there was a fear that the armies might spill over into nearby Vrindavan. So Krishna went far away in Dwarka to protect Vrindavan. And this is the external reason. Paritranaya sadhuna, to save the Vrajvasis, Vinashaya dushkritam, to kill Jarasan and his armies, and kill Shishupal, Dantavakra, etc. External reason. Internal reason is actually Krishna never left Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So the internal understanding is that Krishna apparently left. He did not actually leave. He apparently left Vrindavan simply to increase the love of the Brajvasis. Just like Krishna disappeared in the Ras Leela. Why? Only to increase the utkantha, the eagerness of the gopis to be with Krishna. Krishna darshana lalasa. To increase this lalasa, to increase this utkantha, Krishna apparently left Vrindavan. Actually, he never left Vrindavan. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Ever. Never. But apparently he left as if he was hiding from the Brajvasis, only to increase their love and separation. This love and separation from Krishna is a great mystery. Because in this separation, we have explained many times, there is union also. So this Vipralamba Prem, Vipralamba Seva is the highest manifestation of Prem. And to give the Brajvasis this taste, this rasa, Krishna left Vrindavan. So tell me, Sharmishta Mataji, if someone has 1 crore rupees and someone has 100 crore rupees, who is richer?
Of course, 100 crores.
One who has 100 crores is richer than one who has 1 crore. In the spiritual world, the only currency that we measure is Prem. Who has more Prem? Who is more advanced in Prem? And when there is temporary Vipralambha, the Prem increases. Although the Prem of the Brajvasis is unlimited, but when there is Viraha, there is separation, the Prem increases hundreds of times more. And the only currency that is of any value in spiritual life is Prem. So if in Viraha the Prem is increasing, the Brajvasis are becoming more samriddha, they are becoming richer. So Krishna is making them spiritually richer by putting them through Vipralambha Sambhog, Viraha Sambhog. So that's why there is temporary Viraha, to increase the sweetness of union, to increase their love. So Krishna is actually benefiting the Brajvasis. Krishna actually benefited the gopis by going away from them, apparently, during the Ras Leela. That is the mystery of Viraha or Vipralambha. Is that okay, Sharmishta Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, wonderfully explained. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It is getting really late, my dear friends. I actually have some chanting also left today. So I will very quickly take Kamal Gopika Mataji and Ananda Vilas Prabhu's questions, then we'll stop. Kamal Gopika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. And very nicely explained the last question answers, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. मैं आपका टाइम नहीं लूंगी प्रभु जी. आपने बोला ना, मेरा तो जरा बस एक क्वेश्चन, क्यूरियोसिटी थी पूछने की कि आपने गुरु महाराज के साथ अभी इतना अच्छा टाइम बिताया, तो कुछ हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगे क्या? तो नेक्स्ट क्लास के अंदर करेंगे प्रभु जी. दैट्स ओके.
हरे कृष्ण. हरे कमल गोपिका माता जी. अनंत विलास प्रभु, लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, my sister,
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so very much for this amazing class, Prabhuji. My question is that you mentioned that there are 4 stages of chanting. The first is that we must focus and hear the syllables of the Mahamantra, then what comes naturally is the...
I mentioned 3, Mataji. One is
last-
Naam Dhyan, just focus on hearing the name, then Roop Dhyan, and then Leela Dhyan.
Yes, Prabhu. I meant 4th was like when you do pravesh in the Leela. But okay, so so Prabhu, my question is that is it always does it always go in these 3 stages, or
yes,
does this happen to beginner level people also, like people who are very neophytes, very new in devotion, who are just starting to practice? Can this happen to them as well, Prabhu?
So this can happen on the mental level and this can happen on the spiritual level. What we are discussing is on the spiritual level. Because see, if one has not had darshan of Krishna, then how one can see Leela? So first there should be Roop Dhyan, and then there is Leela Pravesh, Leela Dhyan. So, but on the mental level it can happen, just like sometimes we get tears when we are hearing Harikatha, there are tears in the eyes. Does that mean we have attained Nayanam Galadashru Dharaya Vadanam Gadgadrut? No. So those tears are coming from the mental platform, and they are coming in the sadhak avastha, not siddha avastha, not in the perfected stage, but it is the practicing stage. Sometimes we get a glimpse of that, but that is, we should understand that is coming from the mental platform. Because that same devotee who is crying in Harikatha, you show them an emotional movie, a tear jerker, Bollywood or Hollywood movie, they will cry there also. उसका केवल अर्थ यह है कि हृदय द्रवित हो रहा है भक्ति के कारण. Bhakti is making the heart softer. That is what it indicates. But it's on the mental platform still. But a person who has attained Krishna, who is self-realized, that person's tears are different. That person will have no taste whatsoever for mundane music, mundane movies, mundane relationships. Not at all. That person is always Krishna conscious, always chanting. So first we have to see whether we are able to do Nirantar Nam Jap. That is preliminary. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Therefore, the 3rd verse of Shikshashtaka comes first as a 3rd verse. So Shikshashtaka prayers, the 8 prayers are sequential, Mataji. They indicate spiritual progress. They indicate Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Chetodarpana Marjanam. That is Sambandha. And Ashlishava Padartam Pinashtumam is Prayojan. So, and then Trinadapi Sunichana is Abhideya. Kirtanya Sadahari is Abhideya, the process. Na Dhanam, na Janam, na Sundar is Abhideya. So, Shikshashtak prayers are Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan, like that. So, Kirtanya Sadahari comes first. Ahaituki Bhakti comes first. Then Nayanam Galadashru Dharaya. So, if we are seeing tears in our eyes, if we are seeing some Leela happening, well, that is just mental platform because we have not done Trinadapi Sunichana yet. That is coming. That is not from the spiritual platform. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, dear devotees. So we'll stop here. Let me just quickly go through the chat box very quickly. Okay, no questions. So we'll stop here. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada. All glories to all of you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.